the reason we need the body, we need incarnation because we want to finish what we didn't finish from the past.
Right.
Does that happen to the ancestors too?
Yes.
Okay, good. So which means to have this body is our own second chance.
Right.
Right? But for them, it's the business investment.
Right.
So they can.
They're not emotional about it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just want you to do what
Yeah.
they didn't complete.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So parents,
yeah,
the parents or
you-
the grandparents are emotional
Yeah.
about what they want you to do.
Yes.
The ancestors just
Yeah.
want you to do the work. There's no emotion
Right.
about it. Just do it. We didn't do it. We have this issue. Until you do it, you have to experience it like
Yes.
we did.
Okay, let's continue from the growing pain, right?
Yes.
Every stage of life has its own requirement, okay? Childhood going through childhood pain and the stagnation and, adolescent has adolescence trouble, youth has youth trouble.
Right.
Grown up has grown up trouble, getting old has getting old trouble, right?
Right.
Okay, but each stage, if you make it happening, you move forward.
Right.
If you don't make it, you stay there.
Right.
Even your body grow, your
It's
mind
just like
grow.
school. You
Yeah,
you
thank you. Exactly. So those are, we are talking about unfinished business, not just for ourselves, succession of the session, person after person, generation after generation.
Right.
So good. The last part is that how many of your family ancestors rest in peace? Which means they're going to sleep and they're going to get up.
Right. That's a good question. If anybody
No.
has unfinished business, they're not resting.
I know. Even they die, the problem doesn't mean they die, the problem solved. See, that's why the job continues.
Right.
The work continues.
Right.
If any job, if you go to a kitchen next day, if they not clean up, there's no fresh utilities to work with it.
Right. So, before we quickly close out, I just want to say, since we're at this whole repetition conversation, that's how, when we're working on 15 by 15 and we're looking at someone's chart and we pull the numbers, the age numbers that have been repeated in the process, that's how we can figure out what traumas need to be processed and healed for the ancestors so that the generations after you don't go through the same process. Because whatever it is whatever that trauma was that they want you to resolve, the only way to resolve it is to experience it and then process it with forgiveness. And it usually happens at that same age. So, for example, if somebody came to us and asked us to go through the 15 by 15 with them, for them, we would be able to tell them about the possible ages and traumas that were coming before they happened. But if you had anything in childhood, it's already happened. It's already happened. And very likely it happened to an ancestor. It happened to a parent. It happened to a grandparent. It happened to a great-grandparent. Yes. And so that is why forgiveness is so important in those instances, because that's the only way to resolve those issues of trauma. Otherwise, they just get repeated. And they may not get repeated exactly the same, but it'll be a similar scenario where you'll be able to look at that and say, oh wow, that happened, something such and such happened to my great-grandparent. I can see how I had something very similar happen to me, and how I need to resolve it so that my children or my grandchildren or my niece or my nephew don't end up doing the same thing.
All the people around me in general.
Right.
Yes. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll be back for more.
Yes.